Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. I'm done with this team. I really am. It doesn't matter who's the manager, European champion, Graham Potter, Frank Lampard. This team isn't it. This team have not got it. And I'm going to explain why I am absolutely disgusted by what I saw yesterday against Wolves. We lost 1-0. We've had heavier losses this season. And quite frankly, by the end of that game, I'm like, thank goodness it's over. It sucks. It stinks as a Chelsea fan to be sat there after we go 1-0 down, knowing, not even thinking, knowing you're going to lose. I'm sick of it. I'm beyond over it. And the sad reality is, I'm about to get nervously excited again. In a few hours, probably. A day or so. Real Madrid away in the Champions League is about as good as it gets for a professional footballer. To be with your club that you're playing for, that are paying your wages, and have a Champions League quarter-final against Real Madrid as your next match is the stuff of dreams. Every footballer should strive to even achieve that, to even have that anticipation, that knowing that you're going up against one of the giants of the world, Real Madrid. But none of those Chelsea players yesterday, apart from Wesley Fofana, put in a performance that said, pick me, Frank, against Real Madrid. Please put me out there at the Bernabeu and let me fight for the badge, fight for this shirt, fight for this club, and fight for these fans. Not a single player played his way into that team. And unfortunately, is there really many changes we can expect? I'd like to think so. Kante's got to play. If Mount's ready, he's got to play. Chilwell's got to start. And other than that, we're just putting pieces together and hoping that they fit, quite frankly. If Frank Lampard plays with a 4 at the back against Real Madrid will not just beat us. They will annihilate us. They will destroy us. They will bury us deeper than we've ever been before. They could absolutely decimate Chelsea on Wednesday night. It could be a horror show. I really think they should put an 18+ rating on it. It could get that bad. Because what I saw yesterday, having suffered through the shambolic nature of the Potter era, what I saw yesterday from Frank Lampard was even worse. You know, I'm here to call a spade a spade. Graham Potter's Chelsea would have done better yesterday. And that is on Frank for the way he sets them up. And I think it's also on him for not taking Wolves seriously enough. Instead of going out there and trying to play a team to get some momentum going, build some confidence, we were led to believe that the V word, that's vibes by the way, if you didn't know, everyone's been talking about it. We were led to believe that the vibes alone were going to carry us through a game against the relegation threatened Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Molineux. We didn't have that. The skies might have been blue, but the only thing that was blue about Chelsea's performance yesterday was just how cold the heat maps were. No movement. We couldn't find our man, and there was no men available at times because the shape was absolutely awful. Chelsea lining up as a 4-3-3 against Real Madrid gets us absolutely destroyed, liquidated as a football club. It is not going to work. Chelsea need a miracle. Whether we go with our strongest team playing a 3 at the back or not, we need a miracle against Real Madrid. However, I've seen crazier things happen, and Chelsea in the past. This is part of our DNA, but this is again why I think that this game against Real Madrid is possibly the most unlikely match ever that will see Chelsea pull off a miracle. Because the DNA of Chelsea has been, when our backs are against the wall, we've just got this nous, this know-how, these players, these individual talents that can galvanise together in a cohesive way to pull Chelsea through the mud. That doesn't exist anymore. I'm almost sure that we don't get a result against Real Madrid. And that, as a Chelsea fan, with all of the money we spent, with all of these brilliant star individuals that we've got, is horrifying to genuinely believe that we could get double-figured against Real Madrid. And I don't even think I'm exaggerating here, and I know a lot of people will say that I am. Defending has been relatively good from Chelsea this season, and the Wolves goal yesterday is a wonder goal. And if they don't score that incredible strike, it's probably the worst 0-0 I've ever seen. But still, a 1-0 against the team that don't score goals, it's never acceptable. And the reason it's never acceptable is when you don't create anything. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang comes off the bench having been frozen out from the Chelsea team for so long, for whatever reasons, doesn't really matter. Aubameyang at least had an effort, as tame as it may have been, a header that was leaning backwards and it went wide as far as I remember. I think by this point I was pulling my hair out. Whatever is left of it, I need a haircut. Whatever's left of it, I was pulling it out on my live stream. But Frank Lampard got it all wrong. And as much as I will sit here and give you that energy and excitement that our best ever players back in the dugout, hoping that we can at least get some kind of positive energy between now and the end of the season. I made a video talking about, could Lampard get it permanently? And in that video, as much as people say, oh, you're stupid if you think Lampard's the man, but after yesterday, I don't think so. And at the same time, I said in that video, Frank's got to win every single match in the Champions League to even stand a chance. And he's already lost to Wolves. And we've got Real Madrid twice, Brighton, Brentford, Arsenal and Newcastle for the rest of this month. It is genuinely scary that Chelsea might go through the whole of April without a single win. I can't sit here with any fake optimism anymore and say, looking at any of those fixtures, I see anything other than maybe a couple of goalless draws at best. Because going forward, there are not words left that I have to describe just how bad Chelsea are in front of goal. And then when it comes to the transitions, this team are so incoherent within one another that I don't see how we can improve on it. I really don't. I'm going to move now into my player ratings here. And I'm going to discuss the players that I really do think it's time to be sold. A microcosm of a bigger problem that, yes, we can say that the boards have hired Graham Potter incorrectly, fired Tuchel incorrectly, and now hired Lampard incorrectly. A trio of errors, you could argue. There's got to be individuals willing to put themselves in the firing line to drag this Chelsea team from the mud and out of the mire. Nobody was willing to do it yesterday. Kepa gets a 5.5. There's nothing he can do about the goal. So when he can do something about the goal, I'll criticise him. When he can't, and he saved the Diego Costa, which was the second best chance of the game, by the way. Wolves had the second best chance of the game. Diego Costa forces a great save out of Kepa. He can't really do much more, to be fair. A couple of good punches from Wolves' corners, but, even at least Wolves made him punch it. Chelsea's corners went straight to Jose Sarr. Reece James gets a 4.5. Again, yesterday, arguably the worst delivery from Reece James that I've ever seen from him in a Chelsea shirt. Yes, that falls on the manager because Frank Lampard nullified what we always praise in Reece, which is the ability to drive Chelsea forward. And Reece was stuck in that right-back position yesterday with Conor Gallagher ahead of him, who spent most of his time in different areas of the pitch running around. So for Reece, there wasn't really an avenue to move forward because he'd have had to go and take on the entire Wolves team to get into a progressive position because there's no one to pass to in the middle of the pitch for Reece to move forward, to create space. Chelsea yesterday, as if we could have expected, really, Frank Lampard to work on little passing triangles, little passing patterns. There wasn't the time for that. But at the same time, when you've just come into the job, don't change everything and nullify the one thing that Chelsea do relatively well, which is get the wing-backs advanced into progressive areas of the final third. Reece couldn't do it yesterday, and by his standards, it was a poor match, 4.5. Wesley Fofana is a 7. A few people got annoyed that I even managed to somehow pick a positive in 6 things we learnt, but Wesley Fofana was good. He tried to drive forward. He saw, when he looked ahead of him, there's a load of headless chickens running around pointlessly, not finding good pockets of space, in order for Wesley to have the faith that the pass was the right one. So Fofana tried to drive it forward. And as well as that, he did his defensive jobs well too. It's a fantastic slide tackle with his left foot when he fell. And then he makes a big block to deny Mario Lemina also. And I think he was the saving grace from an otherwise terrible performance from Chelsea, where no one can be praised. Even my man, Super Frank. I know the sarcasm's come out from a lot of people about the way that I've praised him, but we'll get to him in a minute. Kalidou Koulibaly, 5.5. I don't think it was a shambles, but there were some moments where I'm thinking, does this man want to be out there on the field? And this is why I'm done with this Chelsea team, because there are too many players that I think have got absolutely no desire to pull us out the dirt here. I'm not asking for a John Terry, a Frank Lampard, a Mikel, a Makelele, an SCN, a Drogba, a Cech. I'm not asking for that. I'm asking for that to be the benchmark that you look up to and at least claw at some of that potential to be that man. At least pull something out or attempt to, or give me some kind of energy that gets me as a fan. All right, cool. You're doing it. You're trying at least. Try. That's how bad Chelsea have got now. We want them to just try. And I'm sorry, I have got so sick and tired of hearing Bruno Saltorf, Graham Potter coming out saying the boys gave everything. That phrase is just sickening. I saw Bellingham post it about Dortmund yesterday, and even that made me feel sick, and it's got nothing to do with Chelsea. Koulibaly wasn't atrocious in terms of like the different realms of ratings that we're given here in this video. But once more, he's not good enough to lead Chelsea's back line and pull us out the dirt when we need someone to be a leader. He's not that guy. Marc Cucurella, 4 out of 10. Marc Cucurella, £63 million. I'm sorry. We saw him improve a little bit towards the end of Potter in a back three. Once more yesterday, there were times where Wolves could have scored because Cucurella is chasing shadows. And this is a Wolves team who have been so poor in front of goal this season that they've got themselves in a relegation scrap. Wolves knew earlier this season that their manager wasn't the right man, so they bring in Lopetegui. And all of a sudden, they look like a team because Lopetegui picks a structure to get the best out of what he's got. And Graham Potter, Thomas Tuchel, Frank Lampard, all playing Marc Cucurella, and not a single manager so far has managed to get a tune out of this bloke for any period other than one game in a row. It's just not good enough. And to see players like Levi Colwill on loan, doing so well for Brighton. Ian Maatsen getting promoted for Burnley, playing fabulously under Vincent Kompany. And a 63 million man keeps getting minutes for Chelsea. Best believe that's got to change this season. And I think if Chelsea get the right bid in for Marc Cucurella, it might be already time for him to go. Conor Gallagher gets a 4 out of 10. First 20 minutes of the game, Chelsea, that was the best spell we had, the first 20 minutes. First 3 minutes we had a decent spell. Gallagher was trying to get on the ball, fighting for it, getting into little pockets, and then it all went wrong the moment I see him with Enzo Fernandez in the middle. Gallagher's far over on the left wing, and he's got no one to pass to. Immediately, from that point, after about 5 minutes, I knew that this was going to be one of those games where if the Wolves midfield are strong and they structure themselves in a way where they're disciplined, Chelsea are beat. Chelsea are beat. And when it comes to Conor Gallagher and Kovacic as your number 8, with Enzo Fernandez being stifled as a number 6 solo, Chelsea were destined to fail. Frank got this one wrong. It would have been better if you want to go with a 4 at the back. Play Dennis Zakaria in a pivot with Kovacic potentially, or Enzo. Just don't leave Enzo there on his own and expect Kovacic and Gallagher to create things. They're not creating things. They haven't created things all season. And to expect that to change yesterday, more for me for being positive. Enzo gets a 5. Probably the worst I've seen him play in a Chelsea shirt. And I love Enzo Fernandez. He's quickly becoming my favourite player at this football club. And I think he is too good for this team. I really, really do. He has not got good enough teammates around him. And at the moment, Chelsea will be lucky to keep him beyond one more season. Because we need to dramatically improve the fundamental things, which is heart, passion, desire. 3 things that Enzo Fernandez wears on his sleeve every single time he goes out there on the pitch. He's trying. But yesterday there was no one even to pass to, let alone hoping that he can get into an advanced area and make a killer final ball. The only midfielder out there yesterday with the capability to do so, sadly. Moving into Mateo Kovacic, 3.5. I think I've been quite nice to Mateo Kovacic in recent games because since the international break, where before that he was doing good, and during the internationals he was brilliant for Croatia. Why? Because Croatia are a football team. That's why. This Chelsea team are not a team. There isn't any player out there who loves his brother. It's as simple as that. And I think Kovacic yesterday was just once again chasing shadows against a really good Wolverhampton Wanderers midfield. Credit to them. I really think that we can all say, how bad are Chelsea? But Wolves, all they needed to do was do the basic footballing fundamentals correctly, and they beat us. And when you look at the individual ability, 3 Champions Leagues in a row, Mateo Kovacic, what on earth are you putting in a Chelsea shirt? Do you want to be here, mate? I don't think he does. That's the thing. Contract's not been signed. If Chelsea offered him one, it's beyond the point. He could be leaving in the club in the summer. And we don't see any players, and again, now this is Kovacic's turn to be under the firing line for me here. There isn't any players trying to drag us out the mud, so the senior ones are the ones who deserve to get the most stick, deserve to be shoved under the bus and blamed for poor overall team performances. And managers, of course. We're getting to it, don't you worry. Raheem Sterling, 3. Once again, does he want to be here? He's not used to fighting for potentially being the best of the rest in the bottom half of the Premier League table. Piss off, mate. Come on. We know he's not used to this, but at the same time, you're a Chelsea player, Raheem. The attack was such a big part of the problem because As much as the 2-8s weren't able to try and find them, there's no dropping deep, there's no trying to win the ball back, there's no urgency, there's no fight. And Sterling, yeah, he might be coming back from an injury, but show me some passion, mate. Give me something. Kai Havertz is a 2, because I have been over and over again this season just blown away. Aubameyang's on the bench, Datro Fofana nowhere to be found. Kai Havertz is nowhere to be found and he gets a place in the team. How? How on earth is he still getting picked over and over and over again? And against Real Madrid, we might see Kai Havertz do something, because he does have a moment of magic in him. But when do we see it? He scored a penalty recently, and he went on a couple of games in a row where he scored. But the amount of chances this guy misses, and the amount of times he's in a good position, but there's no urgency. And to me, it's embarrassing, because you've got players who want to play. Why aren't they playing? Honestly, I don't know why I've made this video, because it's making me upset. Joao Felix gets a 4.5. Joao Felix is one of those players where I don't really know what his role is in this Chelsea team. It's not really to score goals, because you expect Havertz, if he's picked through the middle, to do that. Creating things. Yeah, maybe. But at the same time, like, is he just there to make us look good? Is he there to show a couple of good touches? I don't know. I'm lost on Felix, and because it's been such a busy week, the video that I'm going to make on him hasn't arrived yet. The dog's back, by the way. You can hear him. And I will make it. I promise. It'll be out in the next couple of days before Real Madrid. Pulisic, 4. Came on, didn't influence the game at all. Didn't really get on the ball. When he did, he gave it away and was far too weak. Once again, staple Christian Pulisic. And he goes down expecting a penalty, but it's never a penalty. There's nowhere near enough contact. And he's gambled, hoping that the referee, because of the shambolic nature of refereeing in the Premier League, was going to give it. No. Frank Lampard, 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10 because when he came out of the dugout, we all smiled. We all smiled when we saw Ashley Cole and Frank Lampard, 2 legends of our football club, come out and say, we're here now, we're going to save you. He didn't save us. He made it worse. Frank made it worse. He put a 4 at the back, put a midfield out that was non-existent, and overall, it's the worst team performance I've seen all season. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it because you'd think we'd see something a bit different with a game against Real Madrid coming, whether the shape was destined to fail against the Wolves, organised Wolves or not. It is not okay to see that and not change anything at half-time. Yes, he made a substitution earlier than some managers have and would, but you got to see what you see in that first half and know that something needs to be changed. To finish the game in the same shape as we started it with, when it never once looked good, is criminal from Lampard. It's absolutely criminal, and it proves everybody right who said he's not a good enough manager even to get the vibes back to Chelsea. And that was proved yesterday. I want to be proved wrong. I want to be excited for Real Madrid. I don't know how I'm going to find that excitement. If you've got any ideas for me, let me know in the comments down below. I'm begging you. Because what yesterday was a wake-up call for me, which just told me how much of a crisis Chelsea Football Club are in. From the top, where the decisions are being made, to some of the recruitment, to the management from the managers that we've had this season, and to the effort and desire of the players. And then it falls on us as the fans. We're all sat here today glum, sad, scared. All of these different negative connotation words. They're feelings that we've got right now. Real Madrid could batter us. I pray they don't. And I hope that Chelsea can dig deep enough to find some of that DNA which has made us, against all odds in the past, find an extra gear. I want to see us find a gear the next time I see us on a football pitch, because we didn't find any gears yesterday. This has been Player Ratings. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But as of right now, I think our season is done. I'm done. Done with experiencing it. And I don't have the belief anymore that I'll see anything different this year. So roll on next season. Come on, you Blues.